Harmonious salutation to you. How to stop repeating problems. So, the first thing to understand then is the source of those problems. You should know by now, especially if that's not the first time you're watching my videos, that the reality we live in is a simulation. And what I mean by that is whatever you are experiencing through your five senses, whatever you think that you are doing is but a mere projection of the source reality. Okay, so that's a very important thing to understand. Why? You're gonna see in a second. So let's understand then how you navigate reality and where are the problems coming from. So first thing is that you have a body. Okay, so this is the vehicle that you use for all your experiences. So that's how you walk around, that's how you see things, that's how you interact with things, and so on. You are not this, okay? This is again a vehicle. There's something that people will call the mind, okay? And that mind is operating, in theory, right? The way some of us believe, it's operating the vehicle. But actually, it is not operating. It is but a kind of software. So it's a set of rules that the body tries to adhere to in order to complete a task. So maybe the mind tells the body, hey, go get some water. Go, do this certain action. So the mind is, again, the software, the program that is running in order to actually make the body do things. Without a mind, the body is just mindless. Again, it's doing whatever it wants, not really in control. Now, to operate the mind, we have the soul, which again, if you saw my videos before, remember that the soul is your imagination. So if we think of a movie or a video game or anything that runs in a screen, like the video you're watching, it runs frame by frame. Okay, so that's, for example, a frame. Now, a frame is a still image. When you put a lot of still images changing with a given speed, you get the appearance of movement. Okay, so that's what you're seeing right now, the video. Your soul is the one choosing which frame you're looking at right now. The people who study tarot, for example, the serious ones, will understand that each of those frames are going to be one of the arcanas. So each time you are selecting one app, let's say, to be your next frame of reality. That frame determines how the mind will operate. It's basically the input for the mind. But again, the mind is a software in itself. Doesn't matter if you start trying to change the input, but then in the middle, the mind changes stuff. Then again, the body will react differently. Now, the one missing piece here is the one above all of them, which is the spirit. And that is the observer. Okay, it's just taking notes. It's like the movie critic. It's just taking notes, seeing it, sometimes make some commentary the soul or the mind can pick up on, but usually it's just observing, not doing much, okay? At this level of reality. Now, most of the problems, if not all of them, are happening around this area right here, okay? With the soul and the mind, especially the mind. Because again, if this is the one operating the body, and the body is the one experiencing all the problems, then it is the one that is not only creating the problems sometimes in situations that they don't exist, but also they are making the body take certain actions or thoughts or emotions and so on, they're triggering them, that are making the problems reappear when they are real. Okay, so let's try to understand how do we actually stop repeating those problems, knowing now that most of them happen in our mind. So there are a lot of categories of problems, okay? So for example, one of them could be that you cannot control your body properly, and that makes you not do so well. Let's say you cannot control your body, therefore you have certain addictions, or you cannot control your body, therefore your body is not in its best shape and it causes some health issues and so on. Those are specific category of problems. You have problems with, let's say, people. So again, the way you interact, the way you portray yourself may cause problems with people, and that can cause, again, a series of problems. You can have problems getting things in reality. So for example, money could be one thing, and you try, and you never can get the amount of money that you need. Again, many of them. I'm gonna try and be as generic as possible, but if you want a video in a specific type of problem, let's say, help me get some money or whatever, comment down below and I'll try to be more direct into that. But speaking in general, okay, the first thing that you need to do is understand how you are creating the problems, okay? So I'll give one example. In Brazil, it's very common that people would meme about paying bills, okay? We call them boletos. So that's like very usual. People will play about like, oh yeah, I have all those bills to pay and so on and so on. Guess what? You just gave your mind now the command to play the game or to watch the movie of paying bills. So that's what you did. You have here the paying bills app, and you basically made your mind run it. Now, guess what? The more you play this game, the more you get bills to pay, because that's what you're playing. The game you're playing is the paying bills game. It's not the making money and relax game, okay? So you are creating problems, which are, for example, the bills, in order to keep entertaining yourself with this app. It is a very different focus if, for example, you would install instead. So I delete this and I get the Earning Money app. Earning Money app. So if you had this instead, now guess what? Every week that passes, every day that passes, every second, you are earning more and more and more. Which honestly is not the best app anyways. You should understand by now that money is just means to an end. So unless you are the duck character, I forgot its name right now, but the one who bathes in gold coins and so on, unless you're getting money to do that, then most likely money is not really the focus. The focus is the things that the money gives you, okay? Because it doesn't matter if you have all the money in the world, but then you cannot do the stuff that you actually wanted to do. It's just a waste of time. So again, how are you creating problems? Well, you're probably focusing on the wrong things, or in the things that are creating the problems in the first place. So really, it seems subtle, but it is very different when you focus on getting stuff, for example, getting money, which then you're gonna pay the bills anyway, instead of focusing on the bills to pay. Because when you focus on them, you get stressed, you use your mental energy to focus on which ones you have to pay, instead of, for example, focusing your energy and focusing yourself in ways of making more money. Which again, your mind is the one dictating to your body all the things that you should be doing. So if your mind says to your body, yeah, let's go watch that YouTube video, then guess what? You're gonna watch a YouTube video. But if your mind is focused on, for example, earning money, it could decide, okay, let's watch that YouTube video, and it is going to pay attention to all the things in that video that will help you get the money that you need. So it's really that simple. Now, here I'm all talking about your perspective on things and how you can act and so on. But if we remember at the beginning that I said this is a simulation. So guess what? The more that you try to play this app, the more external things will happen. So let's say you are focused on the paying bills app, and you quote unquote paid all the ones that you have right now, and then you earn a lump sum of like 10K from your job, like a bonus or whatever, or you win in a prize, doesn't matter, you win 10K. But because you're so focused on the paying bills app, out of nowhere, your car, gets a problem, and then you have to pay a 10K dollar bill or whatever. So you get what I mean? You're not only literally going after the problems yourself, like you're not only putting yourself and doing actions that create the problems, but you're also literally in your surroundings, in your simulator, creating those problems. It is very subtle, but the more you pay attention, the more you're going to see how clear it is that you are in control of your reality. And as harsh as that may seem sometimes, because now it takes responsibility, it's really freeing, because the other point of view is saying you don't have any control of your reality. And as bad as it would be, then yeah, it's outside of your control. Like you can only cry about it or something. So either you are able to take hold of the vehicle, the mind and the body, and change stuff. As hard as it sounds, it's not really that hard after you understand all the buttons of the game, but you get what I mean? It's a process. So that's one of the things you should be doing. Understanding what are the paradigms, what are the apps that you are opening all the time, and how those are creating the problems. Second thing you can do is understand where are you creating problems, or rather, where are you seeing problems where they don't exist, okay? They're kind of related to the apps idea, like you're opening something and then you're seeing things from a specific point of view. But here, I want to say something different. So imagine this. You don't interact with other things, like when you buy something, when you have a relationship with someone, so on and so forth. You do not interact with things directly. You interact with the idea that you have about the things. For example, when you go buy water at a supermarket or whatever place you buy water, you're not buying the specific bottle of water because you want it. You want the idea and the story that you're telling yourself about that bottle of water. For example, you could buy it because it is stylish and you are a stylish person. So you tell yourself that story that you are a stylish person. That water looks stylish, so you buy it because of that. You may tell yourself that, I'm from this class of people, therefore I should only buy this type of water bottle. If it looked a little bit more fancy, for example, you wouldn't buy it. Or the opposite, if it looked a little bit less fancy, you wouldn't buy it, and so on and so forth. So you never interact with things from what they are, but rather the idea that you have about them, the projection that you have about them, and the story that you tell yourself about that situation. Same idea with people. So say you have a relationship with someone, and when I say relationship, it could be like a friendship, whatever, right? You have a specific interaction and association with someone. That person you don't know. You never know. You can spend your whole life with them and you're never getting to know the whole of them, okay? You can only know them by the things that they show you directly or indirectly, like if they do some subtle movement and whatever. And that will go through your filters of reality, and that's what's getting to you. Like you're not seeing them really. Now that's a problem, because now, guess what? Sometimes, let's say you're gonna interact with person A, and you're like in childhood, and then you have some problems with person A. You save that in your database of mind, like, okay, person A equals problems. Life goes along, you meet person B. Person B has some similar characteristics or has something that reminds you vaguely of person A. Now, because you already have that saved in your database, your brain is like, Okay, your mind. Yeah, let's make the association. Yeah, maybe person B is also gonna do these kind of things. So yeah, let's like have a hunch about them. Let's like try not to interact with them and so on. So again, you're creating already a problem in your mind where it actually doesn't exist, because it could be even that person B is like the complete opposite of person A. They could be that they like you so much and so on, but you're not interacting with them, or at least you're not giving them a chance to prove themselves because you already have some kind of pre-concept of that person. But if you remember that you are never going to interact with the full person anyway, then again, those should help you, obviously. Like, I'm not saying pattern recognition is a bad thing and you should never, if you see someone acting in a similar way, you should never take that into account. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you never get to know someone fully. So even when someone does a thing that you deem like bad, try and understand what actually happened. Because if you saw my video on the lover's card, you're going to remember that there's no such thing as a victim or a villain. Again, if everything is a simulator, when you are in a certain experience, you're going to be there because you are playing that experience. You are playing that game, you're playing that movie, and you're there. As bad as this might seem, okay? And obviously each case is each case. I'm not going to be super, philosophical here and explain everything so on so on. But the broad idea is that if you went through something, you should be able to recollect to yourself how it is that you end up. Like, what are the causes that made you go through that? And by learning all of that, then you can see, okay, that's why I keep repeating the problem. That's why I keep, meeting the same type of people. That's why I keep doing the same thing whenever I get a new job. That's why I keep doing the same, like having the same health issues and so on and so forth. You're going to be able to pinpoint the stuff. So, to finish off this video for now, last thing I want you to understand is something that you should try to do is doing weekly retros. And what I mean by that is try to weekly at least recollect whatever you went through that week. So for example, I personally journal a little bit every day. And what I mean by journal is not like, when I woke up, I had that for breakfast and so on. No, literally at the end of the day, couple sentences, some days more, some days less, some days like, yeah, okay, it was an okay day, not much. That's it. You don't need to, I mean, if you want to, you can, but I'm not saying you should spend super huge times on that. But the more that you do something like that, even if you don't want to write it down, if you want to just keep it in your mind. I like writing it down because not only I keep it as a backlog and I can, trace it back stuff, but also it makes it easier as a habit, okay? But the more you do it, the more, again, you're going to be able to understand the patterns that you're going through, and you're going to be able to actually process the thing. Because sometimes we don't even understand that we're going through something because we just get caught up in like a bunch of stuff. Let's say you're doom scrolling all day or you're stressed at work, whatever it is, that you get distracted. And you don't understand, for example, that you are indeed stressed, that you are indeed going through a problem. You just like brush it off. So that's pretty much it. Again, these kind of videos are not for you to be, just watching and babbling like, ugh. You should be really noting it down stuff. If you have some comments, like comment out at the same time. Let me know. If you are still in doubt, DM me. My DMs are always open. These are study videos. So you should be here if you really want to stop the stuff from happening in your life. So I'm Matt Mora, Kabbalist, astrologist, tarologist, numerologist, whatever, all the spiritual tech, let's say. And if you like this kind of videos, yeah, make sure to follow me. I also post stuff on Twitter. We do weekly spaces action on Twitter. Those are a little bit more advanced, but still nonetheless super cool. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whatever. I'm in all places. Like I said, DMs are always open, and if you want to reach out, just ping me somewhere. Probably Twitter is going to be the easiest, but also Instagram. And yeah, see you in the next one.